Welcome. Good evening. Hope you guys are having a great night. If you're new here, which it's amazing, even after 64 of these, there's still people popping in here saying, "Oh, wow, we had no idea you guys were doing this here." This is a very different kind of place, considering the type of content I'm known to put out into the world. This is not entertainment. This is not entertaining. This is a place where we're going to be listening to anonymous callers for about 2 hours. And we've got a 1-800 number here on the screen. You can call in, and so long as you remain completely anonymous, we will have a conversation. We'll hear you out. We will listen. Calls usually last around 30 minutes. We have a soft 30-minute. It's not really a rule, but because sometimes they go a little bit longer, but we try to keep calls to about 30 minutes. And you can use the chat and I as a sounding board or as just a listening ear. You can confess something anonymously if you want. So the choice is yours. The floor is yours. Phone lines are opening. I'll take a minute to mention we also have a Discord server that's an extension of this project. It's completely free and open. The purpose of that Discord server is to just create a sense of community for people who need a place to talk or share. You can kind of get some of what you get here. You can get it all week long, and people are in there every day. It's amazing. I think friendships are being made in there. People are hanging out all the time. We got a open mic night on, I believe it's Mondays, but don't quote me on that, where you can go in there and show off something you've made and have a little audience. We also have a anonymous confession channel in there that is 100% anonymous. I don't know who's posting in there. The mods and admins don't know who's posting in there. So the Anonymous Live Discord server is a great place. Yeah. With that, we are going to get these lines 100% open. Sometimes it takes a minute for calls to come in. We'll just chill out and wait. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hey, how are you?
I am well. How are you tonight?
I'm hanging in there, man. Just kind of struggling with some things mentally, but we're doing all right.
All right. Well, we're here to listen. Are you comfortable starting with your age and then a brief intro?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 23 years old, and I just struggle with abandonment issues. And there was just this girl that was in my life for the last couple of years, and things got pretty serious the last year, and then she just moved and completely dropped me, and I've just been struggling pretty hard with it.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah, abandonment is no fun. Nobody likes to be abandoned. So this is a girlfriend, and she just up and left, and no announcement, no breakup, just left? What happened?
Yeah, so we were kind of like at a shaky point, and she had an opportunity for an internship in another state, and so she took it. We hadn't broken up yet, and then there was just constant fighting once she moved, and eventually it just all crashed and burned. She just started kind of ghosting me and not responding and kind of pinning it all on me, like it was all my fault. Just a lot of manipulation and gaslighting is what it felt like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear you're going through such a rough time with it, but it sounds like maybe it's a good thing that this happened the way that it did, even if it hurt. I mean, I don't know what's worse, being abandoned or being stuck with somebody that won't take responsibility for their own actions, who won't apologize and just says everything's your fault. Is there any relief you get from being free of that?
I'd say there's good and bad days. So, we were at a point of no contact for a little bit, and had a birthday not too long ago, and she reached out I mean, I guess as you do, and it's kind of brought up a lot of anxiety with it, a lot of stress as soon as I saw her name pop up. But there's good and bad days. It's just the mental battle of getting her out of my head because of the abandonment. I tend to latch on to people once I open up so they don't leave. And so I'm still in the process of trying to figure out how to get her constantly out of my head to where it's not just consuming me 24/7.
Right. Are you familiar with the work of Dr. Ramanita Vassala?
I am not.
Okay. She is a game changer. She was for me. She's been, she has got me, her work has gotten me through many difficult seasons in life, specifically related to dealing with narcissists, which, just to be very clear, I'm not a psychologist. I even if I was, I couldn't diagnose somebody just through a phone call, of course. So I'm not calling your ex a narcissist, but it certainly sounds like you weren't treated very well, and you also sound like the kind of person that narcissists tend to target. They target empaths, people with a lot of empathy, and sometimes we can give people too much empathy, and that's something that a lot of people struggle with learning, because it seems like a no-brainer, right? Like everybody should just get empathy. Everybody should just be, you should just be nice to everybody, and it's true. And
Right.
yet, when somebody mistreats you or is just being nasty or not taking responsibility for their own weight in the relationship, then that's when boundaries, learning to set healthy boundaries is imperative. And I'm talking about a lot of stuff that Dr. Ramanita Vassala, this is all her work, just to be very clear. I'm just regurgitating it to you. I'm going to plug some things of hers that have been helpful to me. And one of the things, I'll take one more second before I plug her book and her YouTube channel. She has done a lot of work on, she has a lot of videos on ruminating, which when you break up with a narcissist, rumination is a common, it's very common to ruminate over a narcissist because they love bomb you, and that's how they set their hooks in you. That's how they keep you trapped. Yep. They love bomb you, and then the next day, it's like you're not even there. It's like they stonewall you. Yeah. And so Dr. Ramani has a lot of amazing stuff to read and watch on dealing with rumination, and I'm going to plug some of that here for you. But first of all, her book, Should I Stay or Should I Go, is a very popular book here in this community. We talk about it all the time. It seems like people are all the time calling in with similar stories, like, hey, I'm dealing with somebody who is manipulative and doesn't apologize and is just kind of unreasonable. And this book, Should I Stay or Should I Go? You don't have to write anything down if you don't want to. I'm going to put it in the chat. Should I Stay or Should I Go? Goodreads. I'm going to put the Goodreads link in the chat for you so you can read about it before you read it. Make sure you want to devote the time and money to get through it. It's coming into you here. Stand by. There's probably some typos, but it'll be in there. There it is. So that book is amazing. I cannot say enough good things about it. It's called Should I Stay or Should I Go? Surviving a Relationship with a Narcissist. And I'll add that this book is not just helpful for being in a relationship with a narcissist. It's been helpful for me in dealing with people I'm not romantically involved with that I suspect are narcissists. And it has just really, really aided me. I can't say enough good things about this book. She also has, if you want a free alternative before you spend money and time on the book, her YouTube channel is completely free. I'm going to put that in the chat for you next. Dr. Ramani. She's a psychologist, PhD psychologist, with over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So that's quite something, in my opinion. And
Absolutely.
she has done, from what I understand, she is like the world's leading expert on narcissistic personality disorder. So she is a wealth of information. I want to have her here sometime for some kind of special live stream. I'm going to reach out to her eventually, spoiler, because I just love her. Dr. Ramani Durvasula. Bear with me, I'm typing slow tonight.
Oh, you're fine.
And yeah, so a couple things there for you to dig into. So when did this person walk out on you? How long have you been ruminating on it?
Let's see. We got to a point where we were arguing in, if I'm not mistaken, June, and it was a point of, you know, I was trying to apologize for my fault. I'm not saying I was perfect in the relationship. Obviously, there was probably there were some faults, and so I was trying to own up to mine, and you know, trying to nudge to be like, hey, but this isn't all on me. I'm not taking full responsibility this time. And yeah, I think Julian got to the point where she told me, don't reach out if I ever want to talk to you again. I'll be the one who reaches out.
Yikes. Yeah, it sounds like something a narcissist would do and say. I mean, you did the noble thing. You took the first step. You said, I'll be the first to apologize. And then sounds like when you stood your ground and said, but look, I'm not going to take credit for all of this because there's two of us here. And she couldn't, not only does it sound like she couldn't apologize, it also sounds like she realized she couldn't have her way with you anymore.
Mm.
And that is, if that sounds right to you, then I cannot stress how helpful Should I Stay or Should I Go is. If that sounds right, that book is going to change your life probably. There's another book, if you get through Should I Stay or Should I Go, called Psychopath Free. I would not read this one first because it gets really in the weeds on the different types of psychopaths and how to deal with them without inflaming anything. Because that's the challenge. It's like you don't want to like burn bridges. You just want to like make sure your boundaries are being respected and that you don't piss anybody off. And so if you read Should I Stay or Should I Go, that book is a much better introduction to like if you think you might be dealing with someone but you're not sure if they're a narcissist. And then if you get through that book and you're like, wow, that was like right on point, at that point I would read Psychopath Free. That link is coming in for you as well. And there are great audiobooks for both of these books. If you can't, for some reason, devote enough time to get through this by physically reading it, which I do think is better, reading it physically. But if you absolutely need to, there are pretty good audiobooks for both of these. Not usually a huge fan of listening to books, but sometimes there's a time and place. Okay, here is Psychopath Free coming in. There you go. So, my friend, that sucks. I'm really sorry to hear that you're ruminating on it. I mean, how much time are you? Is it like a constant thing? And is that really the only struggle? It sounds like you have identified it wasn't a healthy relationship, but you're just stuck thinking about it. So is that the only thing you're experiencing on the other side of this, or is there more?
I'd say like it's I guess that has to do with just the abandonment, but there's still like part of me wants to be hopeful that one day it could work out. Obviously, there'd be some major things that have to change, but yeah, right now it's just a lot of the main struggle of just everything reminds me of her. I mean, we did everything together for a year. And so, even get to the point of just boxing up some of the stuff she gave me, gifts and deleting pictures and, unfollowing on social media just to try to do all the little things to get just unnecessary reminders out of my head until I'm in a more healthy state. But
good.
Yeah, I'd say it's just the kind of stuff. Can't even drive. We had so many songs that we had memories with. And so, there's just so much I feel like thrown at me. And, a lot of people say, oh, just wait a few weeks and it'll be over. But I'm like, all right, it's been a few months. Like, when does this get fixed? But yeah,
right.
Trying to that healthy boundary. So, you know, we've talked a little bit, but I haven't reached out once. It's only been her reaching out. But it's so awkward, and yeah, just the hope of, or the idea of what could have been, and you know what could be, which you know just leads to a lot of anxiety and depression, which is something I just struggle with in general. But you know, she was one of the first people that, you know, like I'd say let me open up, because like, you know, being struggling with abandonment, we're very guarded people. And so once she kind of knocked down those walls, I got super comfortable, and, you know, she was always there. And then now, yeah, all of a sudden it just like a light switch, all that was just gone. We fought
Right.
for probably 6 months. But yeah, just, I don't know, obviously I'm kind of rambling and my thoughts are all over the place because it still hurts a lot.
Yeah.
But just trying to figure out what to do. I want to take positive steps.
Well, of course, none of us here can fix your problems, but we're happy to just listen and let you think out loud. And I want to feature some things from the chat that came in that are interesting. Hutch Forsooth says to you, I've noticed that a lot of people struggling with abandonment issues that tend to latch on to other people quickly also struggle with self-love. Just know that you will always be enough on your own. And I think that's beautiful and true. Morgan says to you, I'm sorry that you struggle with abandonment issues. People who struggle with them also tend to be people pleasers. Setting boundaries is important, but of course, it is always easier said than done. They go on to say, something that helps me personally is forcing myself into uncomfortable situations, and I let myself feel and acknowledge emotions that arise. It's good to recognize your triggers. I'm sorry. Those are all very helpful. Thank you, chat. And I hope they're actually helpful to you to think about and maybe meditate on. Meditating can be awesome for getting through stuff that you don't understand or don't know how you're gonna get through. And I'm not sure if you meditate, but some people say you should do it every day. I personally don't do it every day. I've gone through seasons where I do it daily, but yeah, I don't always need to do it as a part of my regular routine. So, but you might try some of that. You know, I'm also hearing that you're saying that you have a hard time letting your walls down because you're so guarded, because it sounds like you've been hurt a lot. And, you know, coming back to that idea of what was the value in the relationship. Like it sounds like you stuck around hoping that the person would change or that they would heal, or maybe you could be a part of helping them heal. And Dr. Romani would say, she does say, that most narcissists can never heal fully. Some of them can make small steps of progress, but for the most part, that's just how they are. That's why they call it a disorder. Now, to be clear, I do think that word gets thrown around way too much. Narcissist is like the buzzword of the century. Everybody's a narcissist. It's like Nazi, you know. Everybody's a narcissist and a Nazi. And the truth is that, like, that's why the word disorder is so important, because everybody has narcissistic tendencies. They're healthy. They keep us alive. If we didn't take care of ourselves, if we didn't think to eat or procreate or defend ourselves in a bad situation, then we would not survive. So a certain amount of narcissism is in everyone, and it when it's balanced, it's a healthy thing. This is what Dr. Romani would say. It's what she does say. And so, you know, that's why dealing with these people is so tricky, because they'll feed on you as an empath, even if you're not an empath, even if you are just a average person. I'm actually not sure how much of this stuff is like science as much as it is like an Enneagram kind of thing. But the point is that, like, it sounds like you gave a lot in the relationship that wasn't acknowledged. And it sounds like that's going to be part of your journey, is learning when to give and when to put a boundary in place, and how to do that in a way that doesn't inflame situations. And that'll take time. And I don't think anybody can give you a magic bullet for that. But, you know, again, like self-reflection, meditation, reading a lot of good books. Hopefully the books in Dr. Romney's YouTube channel can be a resource for you in learning these steps. Yeah, I feel for you, and because I know that's not easy, feeling that way, but just know that it will get easier. You will get stronger. And I know it probably feels like you're staring into a void, but it won't always feel that way.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, it does feel like I'm staring into a void. So it feels like it's always one step forward, two steps back. But, you know, trying to move forward, try not to be lazy with it, because I don't want to just sit here and just have a pity party all the time. But,
right,
you know, I've got a whole life ahead of me. Hopefully that
that's
I don't
right.
want to let
That's
this
the spirit.
all the rest of life.
Yeah. You know, if you get through these books and you learn something about potentially your former partner, and you learn something new about yourself, then maybe the thought that helps you move on is a thought of appreciation for the time you had with your partner, even if it wasn't a good experience. But maybe you could you don't have to actually thank them. In fact, Dr. Romney advises most people to, if they're pretty sure the person is a narcissist, try just to not talk to them. If it's at all possible, just don't talk to them at all. That's what she says. That's what she said. So, you know, the point being, like, that you mentioned, she's put your ex has put this no contact thing in place. Like, I'll contact you, you don't contact me. I'd say, like, that sounds like great news. And then maybe don't answer when she calls. You don't have to answer. And then if you run into her, you don't have to be nasty. You can just be like, oh, hey, how's it going? Just keep it chill, you know, and you don't have to. I can tell that you mentioned it was awkward or something. I think you used the word awkward because the situation feels awkward.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, maybe there's some blessings in here that you can actually subconsciously thank her for. Not physically thanking her, but, like, maybe that's how you let go. Again, like, assuming that you're going to learn something about this. Maybe she's not a narcissist. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it just wasn't a good relationship. But either way, eventually there's going to be some kernel of truth that comes out of this that helps you, makes you stronger, and leads you into better relationships in the future. And so maybe there's a grateful kind of attitude that you can use to subconsciously thank your ex for leading you to these truths and opening up this new future that you're talking about.
No, yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to work on the forgiveness part without an apology, you know, from her, because that's probably something I won't ever get.
Doesn't sound like
so
it.
just working, you know, just to myself, forgiving her for the stuff, because, you know, I mean, I tried talking to her, talking how about, you know, forgiveness is the first step in reconciliation, but that just wasn't resonating.
Right.
And so, you know, like, you know, I don't want to hate her. I mean, she reached out yesterday, and I haven't responded. I don't know if I will. I want to, but don't, you know, it's not smart to. And so, yeah, trying to look for the blessings in it. Like, obviously there's a whole lot to learn. And so I am excited about the future. You know, it's just that stage of, like, all right, there's some major mental and emotional things that I do take going forward. And so, yeah, I'm super excited about the books. I am a big reader, so always love new book suggestions.
She has. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. Continue.
Dr. Romney's YouTube channel has several videos on not only spotting red flags. You might take notes of these because I'm not going to be able to plug the video. I can't find the videos fast enough. You might jot these notes down. She has some videos on spotting red flags. So, for example, like if you're on a first date, she gives you like a list of things to look for that might indicate the person could be lacking in empathy or a narcissist or some kind of psychopath. She gives you, she has several videos walking through potential red flags and how to deal with them. And what was the other thing? What was the other thing she has videos on? Dang. Guys, I'm sorry. I've been fried this week. This has been a crazy week, as many of you know. There's been so many new things happening here, and I've just been working around the clock. I apologize. I'm going to be a little rusty tonight. But there was something, spotting red flags, and what was the other thing she has great videos on? How to, I would look into the videos she has on how to get over ruminating. And she talks about, in these videos on rumination, she talks about the reason you ruminate. It's kind of what I touched on earlier. It is what I touched on earlier. You are ruminating because it was too good to be true, because they love bombed you. They gave you a synthetic kind of love. It's actually not it's synthetic, but it's honest for a narcissist, because it's authentic for them to be that way. That's simply how they are. And this is the tragedy. This is why I say narcissism is kind of a tragedy. And I don't really think the healthiest approach is for people to like hate these people or think that they're like scum of the earth, despite some of the horrible things they may do. I'm not saying that we like that we love them either, or like that's the wrong word. Of course we love them, but like we want to be careful around them. We don't want to get hurt. But like I think too many people see this as like people like this as, again, like Nazis, when in reality you got your former girlfriend's the only kind of love she could give you. And these people do feel love, but it's not what everybody else considers love. It's a much different kind of love. And so the reason that you're ruminating is because they love bomb you, and it's too good to be true. And so that's the hardest part, is learning to identify somebody who won't mistreat you, because it won't always feel like fireworks like it does with a narcissist. And I realize I'm spending a lot of time talking about the potential that she's a narcissist when none of us really know if she is, but it sounds an awful lot like you've been dealing with one. And so I'm just taking some time. I hope I'm not wasting your time, but I'm just taking some time to regurgitate some things you might look into that Dr. Romani could aid you with, or equip you with information she could give you to come to that conclusion on your own and how you want to deal with it. But yeah, it's interesting. It's fascinating, because in a lot of ways you are not going through a breakup here. You're letting go of the idea of this person. You're letting go. You're letting go of the archetype that you were attracted to, and you're realizing that you can't get yourself into a relationship with someone that's going to mistreat you, because you deserve better. And so in a lot of ways, that's why these kind of breakups can be so overwhelming, because you're not just breaking up, you're realizing that you've been attracted to unhealthy types of people, and that can be a lot to take in.
No, yeah, that's good. That has been some of the points, and just some friends, they joke around like, yeah, so this is just your taste in women, but it's just, yeah, trying to learn. And I would say narcissists for sure. And now I feel like I can pinpoint the red flags. But
can you tell us some of the red flags that you're realizing that might be helpful or interesting for people to hear?
Yeah, I think the first one like that comes to mind was like, even when things seem to be like going great and like at its best, there was still a lot of times where if I was like reaching out and trying to like not seriously just get like attention for myself, but just communicate with this person, sometimes it can be very inconvenient for that person. And
right.
I was expected to understand 100%, like, oh, okay, yeah, you just didn't want to talk or you were busy, but if the roles were flipped and I couldn't get to the phone or I couldn't respond for a few hours, it was like the end of the world. It was like, well, you weren't there to give me the attention I needed. And, you know, for someone like me, I just was like, okay, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. But definitely me getting attention is a top priority, even though they can sugarcoat it. Like you said, they love bomb. And so I'd say that was like the biggest one for me. And like, there was just little things I started to notice along the way, and I didn't realize it was narcissism at the time. But a lot of woe is me. So a lot of like, and like not saying that some of it was like invalidated, you know, about her feelings, about herself, or about her life. But there was a lot of, now that I look back, moments where I think, you know, this person was just fishing for me to, you know, hype her up, give her compliments, you know, just show her all the affections and attention she wants. And so a lot of the woe is me. So I'd say the biggest two that I've pinpointed for sure has been only talks when it's convenient for them, when they want attention, and then two, they're gonna play all the cards to where all the conversations, and no matter what, it's gonna point back to them, whether it's the woe is me or just kind of almost completely ignoring what you're talking about and turning it to where it's about them, kind of like competition almost.
Competition, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, something seemed overly competitive. That was one thing during one of our fights. I'm not joking, one word for word was saying, even for myself, and so I was like, okay, maybe I do, and I was trying to replay, but she told me, she was like, you talk about yourself too much when we talk. She's like, I want to talk about me. And I was like, okay, well, I was like, ouch. I was like, man, you know, there could be some truth to that. And so that was something, you know, I kind of took back, and, you know, I started, you know, trying to figure out, I was like, how can I ask more questions about this person? You know, all these little things where I can make the conversation less about me as possible. Because, you know, the abandonment, I don't want this person to leave, but, you know, I realized I was like, slowly sure, I was like, they've got me wrapped around their thumb, knowing how I can get them to talk about them in the best way, any way possible.
Right.
Because I noticed if it was about me, it would be harder to get this person to talk. But if it was about them, man, they would text or call faster than you could blink. And yeah, I feel like I was rambling there, but definitely
sounds an awful lot like you're dealing with a narcissist.
Yeah. I say, top two signs are definitely talks when it's convenient for them, and expect you to completely understand, like they won't be at fault, and then two, kind of the woe is me, kind of always trying to fish for things to be about them.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're dealing with a narcissist. Dr. Romney has I'm pretty sure it's in her book. It might be in Psychopath Free. Honestly, I'm getting those two mixed up now. But in one of those books, there's actually a questionnaire. It's like 30 questions. And the book claims if you answer yes to at least 20, then you're probably dealing with some kind of psychopath. And if you answer yes to 25, then you most definitely are, the book claims. So might be an interesting chapter for you. Again, I can't remember which one of those books it's in, but it'd still start with Dr. Romney's book if you're going to read any of them, because
absolutely,
the second one's going to get too granular too quick. But I'm sorry to hear about the rumination and feeling stuck where you are. Just know that's going to get easier. Give yourself time. Give yourself grace. Do some meditating. Take some deep breaths, and realize that this will make you stronger. And there's always something you could take from a relationship, even if it ends horribly, and thank the person for in your mind, even if you can't thank them, or it's not appropriate to thank them in person, you can still thank them in your mind, and that can be maybe a helpful way to begin letting go of the thoughts and begin realizing and trying to find new types of people They're trying to, you're kind of rewiring yourself. It sounds like you're trying to learn, like, what does a healthy, attractive person look like for me? And that might take time to figure out. So we're wishing you the best, and these lines are always open to you. You can call again anytime, and would love to hear a good update.
Absolutely. I appreciate you so much, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling and being real. This isn't easy stuff to talk about, but I hope it was helpful to just think out loud. And there's a bunch of good stuff in the chat that I didn't get to that you might revisit tomorrow. The chat replay is always up. It takes YouTube a few hours to process it, but it'll be up tomorrow for you to go through, and hopefully there's just more good food for thought for you in there.
Absolutely. I look forward to getting to it. Thank you so much, man. Hope you have a great night.
Same to you. Take care. Good night.
Bye.
Okay. Lines are opening again. Give me a second. I need to take a couple of notes that I forgot to write down during that call. I was so into that one. That topic always gets me, gets my attention, because I've been there. It's rough. I've been there many times in my life with many people. Psychopath Free says 1 out of 7 people is a psychopath of some kind. That's 15% of the world, the book claims. And there's a study that they cite. Fascinating book. I see some calls coming in. Apologies, I'm just updating these notes to make sure these calls are helpful to other people. And now we can jump back in. Thank you, Clancy, for that super chat. I see that from British Fellow. I just want to make a note here that I'm laughing because this is seemingly a very small thing that should have honestly been fixed by this point. But if you're an international caller, please just beware calling in. You might get charged. I'm not fully sure. This line is, I'm paying for this line to be toll-free to over 100 countries. And for some reason, some people have called in and said they got charged. So my point is, I don't know precisely which countries. One person called in from London or somewhere in England and got charged. And I was like, you'd think that England would be one of those 100 countries, but I've been surprised. So just be careful. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hey, how you doing, Julian?
I'm all right. How are you doing tonight?
Doing okay. I'm happy to be calling in and watch the show and have something on my mind and hope to pick your brain. So. Okay,
can we start with your age and a brief intro?
Yeah, of course. I'm 31. I'm from Maine, and I'm happily married.
Toast, my friend. I hate toasting people. That's toast count 1 tonight. My friend, you got toasted because you said a location. We do that for you so that if you say something that you regret, we don't want to implicate anybody. We don't want anybody to regret what they share here. So we have a rule of anonymity. No names, no locations. Please call again. You can call back tonight if you want. I'm not going to store your phone number. So if you call back and omit those things, we'll have a conversation as long as we need to. So sorry you got toasted. We try to make that clear because nobody likes hanging up on people. Maybe narcissists do. But that's why you got toasted. I'm really sorry. I hate doing that. And I would love to give you a space to share what was on your mind. So hope to chat with you again tonight. It's crazy. The longer this show goes on, the more and more difficult Toast becomes, because it just feels worse with every episode. It feels worse. So yeah. All right, lines are opening again. I'm gonna pour myself some more water. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hello there.
Can we start with your age and a brief intro?
Yes. I am 23 years old.
Okay. And what's on your mind?
Well, currently I've been going through a life transition, and I've finding myself holding on to things from time and years past that I think I need to let go of. I don't want to say I'm a hoarder, but I attach emotion and relationships and things of the sort to lots of the stuff I have lying around my room, and I don't want to be more materialistic, but I also associate meaning and memories and people with lots of the stuff I have lying around, and I'm just trying to find a way through it.
I see. So you said you're not a hoarder. What is it? Your house is just too cluttered, or what's the situation?
Well, I'm a graduate student, and I live in the dorms, and it's a single dorm, so it's quite cramped. A New York apartment would be better than this, low key. But it's that type of stuff. And when I say associating with stuff, I'm talking about things like clothing, gifts, and creations that I've made over the years that I just assign meaningfulness from the people who gave it to me and the experiences I did with those things. And yeah, I find myself constantly going through piles and saying I'm going to only keep the top 3 things, and then every time it's the first 3 things, sometimes it's already there.
Wow. So you're in a small dorm room. There's not a lot of space for stuff, and you think getting rid of some of this would make your space a little more habitable, and yet you can't bring yourself to let go of it. Is that about right?
Yes, and the larger picture of the things, my life and home, back home, knowing that someday all this stuff will eventually have to go away to something else, and thinking about the best way of distributing or getting rid of things like that is just a tough thing to think about when I really sit down and think about how to move on.
I see. There's a book that I honestly don't remember very well, which is a horrible setup for a book, I might add. That's a horrible setup, I admit. But this book, here's a book. I haven't read it. No, I have read this. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Are you familiar with that book?
I'm not, but I would like to.
Okay, this is a wildly popular book. It has over 300,000 ratings on Goodreads, and it's 4 stars. So lots of people love this book. I read it years ago and immediately got rid of a bunch of stuff. I'm not a minimalist. I like little trinkets too, and I think everybody attaches memories to things and sentimental value, and maybe you experience that on a deeper level than most people. But this book just really inspired me to. I went gung ho. I cleaned out my closet. I got rid of clothes I hadn't worn in years. I went through camera gear, and I went through all my shelves, and for about a week I was just like, man, what can I take to Goodwill, and what can I give to somebody else that might want this, and who might want these things? So I'm not sure how severely uh, you're experiencing this, but this book inspired me, and it came to mind as you were talking, and so I'm gonna plug this in the chat for you, and then you can read the Goodreads description and decide if you think you might want to read it. It's going in for you now. Stand by.
Thank you.
There it is. It's in the chat for you. So, what kind of stuff is it? What kind of stuff are you holding on to? What are like the 5 most difficult things, if you don't mind sharing?
The 5 most difficult things when it comes to categories, I guess. Is that what you would say?
Like, no, what are the, if you don't mind, without getting so detailed that we have to toast you,
Sure.
not so specific
that
it implicates someone or something like that. But like, what are, like, is it like a former girlfriend's shirt, or like a baseball your grandma gave you when you were 5, or like what kinds of things are the hardest 5 things?
I have a decent bit of clothing and T-shirts. I ran cross country for 8 years, and in every meet I would almost buy a shirt or get awarded something or earn something for finishing. And over the years, I compiled quite the lot, and doing so was the sport was a very emotional and impactful thing on me. And whenever I see myself letting go of that, it almost, not that I would see myself letting go of those memories, some of which probably should be gone, but that is one of them. I can look at almost any piece of clothing and track back who got this for me, and the compassion that went into someone buying a shirt or a gift for me. And it's hard in my mind, feel like I'm not valuing it if I were to give it away, or if it's someone who's gone, something of the sort like that too.
Right.
And then another, I guess the other realm of it is I have lots of childhood stuff over the years, and the sorts from boxes of Star Wars figures to Legos and things of the sort that I would build with my brothers, and lots of, we are obviously not in the same house and have moved on, and I was the one stuck with it being the youngest one of the hand-me-downs. And it's hard to look at those things that brought me joy and memories, and again, I can think back of Christmas morning 2006, blah 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 blah, and it's just tough to look at those and say I need to let go of this because of those memories. And yeah.
Caroline from the chat. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say those would probably be the 2 biggest things.
Okay.
Everything else is probably in the same categories. But I'm looking at the chat. I have it you muted, but I see everything.
Yeah. Caroline from the chat says, hello caller, do you think it would be helpful to make the shirts into a quilt? That's an interesting idea.
Yes. Funny you say that. When I was going through my college decision process, my mom did so with a bunch of my shirts because she knew I'd have to downsize for college. So I do actually have a T-shirt quilt, and that's one of the things that will never leave me. But I very much
now you're gonna have 100 quilts.
You know, I thought about that. And I obviously know that that is a great way to reconceptualize something. And I would like to do that with probably one more quilt, to work on that with my mom or something of this sort. That is a great idea, though, and I might end up doing that for my top 5 shirts I need to get rid of, but can't seem to let go of.
Right. Beanbags from the chat says, the power of these things are not in the objects themselves, but in the memory of them. Pictures can go a long way in keeping those memories alive while reducing the clutter. So yeah, maybe you take a picture of these things, get them out of your closet, get them off your shelves, and then have a photo album of like get a little photo album, a physical one maybe. Print them out, and put them in there, and then you can look at them anytime you want, and then you can kind of go back there without having to have all this stuff clutter your space.
That's
Another
a great idea, and that's actually one that I've taken up as well. I work in media, and I built a little light box in my college dorm that I take pictures of figures of, and I hope to someday soon tell myself I have these pictures and things of the sort that I've created posing art pieces with, and that's I went down that train of thought before, and I hope it doesn't make me keep them even harder because of those pictures and things of the sort. Sometimes I find myself thinking in a circle when it comes to I think too much. Like you just said, that's a great idea, how to let go of things. If I were to take pictures of like, bionicles and toys of this sort, but then I feel like if I were to look back on those, I would be banging myself up for letting go of things of the sort.
Well, you can't keep everything.
That is right.
Tina Bean says, there's nothing wrong with keepsakes. Some things gotta go, though.
When, if you don't mind me asking, when you said you read that book and you got gung-ho and thought about who to give what to and what to donate, when it came down to the real thinning, what were some of the toughest things, not too specific, but how did you make those tough choices?
Well, it might be different for me. It sounds like it's different for you than it was for me, because I'm not. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I have a keepsake box of things that I want to hang on to, but it's not big. And then I have some keepsakes around my house that are out on shelves that but I've never really kept a lot of keepsakes. For me, it wasn't keepsakes. For me, it was like, and that's why I kind of gave you a disclaimer when I plugged the book. I started laughing because I realized, like, I'm not sure how. Read the description of the book before you dive into it. It inspired me to just clean my space, to just get things out that I hadn't touched in years. And for me, it came down to, I got ruthless. I was like, I had a rule. If I haven't touched it in a year, it's gone. And I just got rid of everything I hadn't touched in a year. And so that's kind of how I dealt with it. But there was not, just to be clear, there wasn't anything for me that I was like holding on to really for sentimental value. I don't think, I can't recall anything that I got rid of that was sentimental, because I don't have like a huge collection of stuff like that. Small, very small collection. So that part wasn't difficult for me. It was more of just like, I keep a lot of camera gear around that I don't use, and so like now I have a rule, like if I haven't touched, I actually still keep up that rule. If I have something and I haven't touched it in a year, unless it's something like really expensive that's like niche and it has like a single purpose or something, I'll just get rid of it. I'll sell it, or if it's something cheap, I'll take it to Goodwill. So yeah, I'm not sure that, I can't think of anything that I got rid of that was sentimental. I'm sure that I did, but this was years ago. So yeah, I'm not really sure how to answer that.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. But
I'm sorry.
Yes.
But I will say that, like, I hear a lot of good things about this. Says a lot of good things about you. I know that it sounds like a struggle, but on the bright side, it sounds like you're a really loving, empathetic person, and that you really care about the people who gave you these things, and you want to be able to pull those things out and look at them anytime you want. That's beautiful. So I think that's says a lot about your character, and at the same time, like, sometimes we do got to get ruthless. Like, we can't keep everything, so you might give yourself, if this is sounds like maybe this is something you've dealt with your whole life. So maybe you give yourself a certain allotment of what you can keep around, like maybe 20 things, or I'm not saying that's the right number, but something like that. Like I'm gonna keep a box or a closet, and if it doesn't fit in these quarters, I'm not keeping it, and I'll just it can feel ruthless, but I think that's why the picture book, the photo album, is a great idea. And you can't kick yourself for getting rid of them. I know you said you were worried if you took pictures, then you'd be kicking yourself looking at the pictures that you got rid of the actual thing, but you can't keep everything. So deciding, that's why I say you might make some kind of rule for yourself of how many things is appropriate to keep around. And maybe next year you get something new, a new gift that you think is higher in the priority than something that was there last year. And so maybe that thing from last year goes and the thing from this year comes in. Maybe you can think of it some way like that. Of course, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a professional in basically anything. So I'm just a dude spitting ideas. But the thought is that, maybe there are some, and I don't know what it's like to be in your experience. I don't know what that feels like, but I hear a lot of empathy. I hear a lot of love and a lot of good memories. And Tina Bean from the chat was right. Like we can't keep everything. Something's got to go. And so I wish I had a magic bullet for you on how to get there mentally, but you might just allow yourself to be a little more ruthless. Maybe it feels scary or unappreciative to get rid of these things, but it's true. We can't keep everything. And it sounds like you're blessed with a lot of friends and family that really love you and give you gifts. And so that's a good problem to have. But I think if you can find a way to get past the thought of banging your head against the wall, looking at pictures of the photo albums, I think the photo album idea from, I think it was Beanbags, is excellent in my opinion. You still get to remember exactly what it looked like, and you can go look at it anytime you want, and then you can thank yourself for looking at the photo book because you allowed yourself to make your living quarters more orderly, more pleasant, and yet you took the time to photograph them, so you would have them forever in some sense. And so if you can find a way to keep yourself from banging your head against the wall looking at pictures, that might be the ticket, is my guess, because I don't know how much stuff we're talking about, but if it's making your living quarters not pleasant or impractical, then it sounds like some things got to go.
I agree, and thank you to the chat for your ideas and encouragement. I've been thinking about that photo album for a while. I have my mom. My graduation gift she gave me was a blank album with lots of things that fell from pictures from graduation and of the years, and random papers from flyers of events and things of the sort that I attached to. And I guess I've just been too afraid to get started on that. But I appreciate the encouragement, and I feel one step closer to doing that now.
Good. Great. So what's going to be first? Why don't you tell us one small thing you can let go of tomorrow?
One small thing.
And you don't have to get specific if you want, but you don't even have to answer it. You can just think about that. But that would be my question to you, is like, what's the one small thing? What's the easiest thing you can get out of your house tomorrow? And then work your way up to the hardest until you've arrived at some number that seems acceptable or workable.
I will do that.
Okay. Tomorrow? You can do it tomorrow?
One of the things I've been thinking I've been having too much is I have a good few blankets, and it's getting colder now, and I'm going down into a city tomorrow, and I might hand out some of the old clothes and or blankets that I don't need anymore to someone out who needs it better than I do.
That's a good idea. That's a great thought. Like a homeless shelter or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea. There you go. That's beautiful. And then you can, when you're looking at the pictures later, you can remember, hey, that blanket's still out there somewhere and it's helping someone. Now the blanket has a new home. You're paying it forward in a sense. You're paying it forward. That's beautiful.
Thank you. And yeah, I know, I guess there's not much, yeah, as you said, there's no magic bullets. There's nothing you can tell me that will immediately make me want to go illegally dump 90% of my belongings. But I appreciate what you pulled up. I'll scroll up and find that book listing and look into that. One of my things of being in graduate school with a lot more time on my hands is wanting to fill the void of not the same lifestyle. So I will try to find that out. What did you say the name of that book was again?
It's called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, the Japanese Art of Decluttering. The Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to look into if it's in any of our public libraries and get into it. How long did it take you to get through it?
I cannot remember. I read this book. It must have been 7 years ago. I can't even remember how long it is. Let me see if it tells us how long it is. Let's see. How many pages is this thing? It is. Oh, Goodreads doesn't tell you that. How many pages is The Life? Goodness gracious, I cannot type to save my life tonight. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. How many pages? Looks like it has 224 pages. So it's not a long book.
Mm-hmm.
I can get through a book like that, and I'm not a fast reader. Not a speed reader. I go back and reread things. I want to feel like I've read the book twice when I read it once. So it probably takes me like a week or two to get through a book, depending on how busy I am. Yeah. So I can't recall how long it took back then. Sorry, you've asked a couple questions and I don't know. I have no answers.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm grateful for the conversation and a voice to bounce off of.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for calling and being real. It's an interesting challenge you have. Wishing you the best on your first steps tomorrow towards a cleaner house, cleaner home. And you call again anytime. Would love to get a good update one day.
Can I say one last 30-second thing about you and the series?
Sure.
It's I remember when you came back from the hiatus for Anonymous Live, and it's great to see how much you've grown in the series and how much it's maintained what it seems like you're wanting to do. I'm grateful that you're back and you're utilizing your platform in a good way like this, and I'm thankful for what you're offering and the community you're building. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're very kind. I enjoyed listening, and again, I'm hoping to hear some good news. So call back with a good update when you have one.
I will. Have a good night, guys.
You too. Good night. Thank you, chat, for those awesome ideas. Seems like that really helped the caller. Hope they get what they need. All right, guys. The stream's about halfway over tonight. If you're just joining us, we do these twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for about 2 hours. And so we're about halfway through here. Here we go.
2 hours.
Hello, thanks for calling.
Through here. Here we go.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for calling. Can we start with your age and a brief intro?
Yes. 24 years old.
And the reason I'm calling is I've been having trouble ever since my girlfriend left me. Just trying to move on, basically. That's the only thing that's going on.
Okay. I'm getting some feedback. Can you turn your speakers down?
Yeah, that's my bad. Sorry.
No problem. When did the breakup happen?
It was about 7 months ago. And so basically it was 7 months ago. You know, you'd think I would be over by now, but obviously I am not. So trying to figure out if there's something going on with me that I need to like move on from, or if there's something going on with her, because we stay in touch. And it seems like that's like an unhealthy thing to do, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe. What was she like? What was your relationship like? How did it end?
So basically, she was pretty abusive the entire time. She would usually like do things like, you know, don't want to say any specifics, but there was a lot of violence and a lot of blood and anger. So, you know, not a good time. But for some reason, I've still been attached to her this entire time, and we stay in touch. You know, we've been good friends for the better part of 7 months now. And it seems like every time I'm with her, like trying to like play pretend like we're still cool, but you know, obviously there's like an elephant in the room that I can't get rid of. So our relationship wasn't the best, but I feel like it's the best I can get, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So she abused you. Sounds like she really hurt you, and yet you are missing her. You miss her.
Which is weird. I feel like, you know, obviously when I say it out loud, it sounds...
No judgment. No judgment. I'm just making sure I got it right. Yeah, that's...
Obviously, it makes... Now that when I say it, it sounds like I should obviously not miss her, but, you know, can't control my thoughts, so it's kind of you know, like a crossroads.
Right. Sounds a lot like our first call tonight. Were you here for the first call?
I was the tail end. He had a lot of things from his ex that he couldn't get rid of.
Yeah, he was ruminating. He had been broken up around for several months and was having trouble not thinking about her, even though the relationship was never healthy. You know, it sounds like if she was abusive, and you miss her. We spent a lot of time on that call talking about Dr. Ramani Durvasula, who's a psychologist that I really love and admire and respect. She has done a lot of work to help people identify whether they're in a relationship with a narcissist and what to do about it. Should you actually be in a relationship with one? And she has some great books we can talk about. I'd be happy to give you links to these in the chat. You might enjoy reading these if this has been going on for 7 months. You know, some of this. I'm going to say to the chat real quick. I'm going to say a lot of the things I said at the beginning of the stream to this caller because it seems like right on point with our first call. It sounds like this ex love bombed you. It sounds like it felt too good to be true. I mean, is that right? If not, why else do you think you could? Why else do you think it is you're ruminating?
Yeah, no, because she was the only one that did make me feel like a steaming pile of hot garbage shit, basically.
Right. So you miss her, or she made you feel horrible and you're ruminating on feeling worthless, or both?
She's the only one that did make me feel worthless by making me feel worthless, basically.
Okay. Was she ever good to you?
I feel like the good barely outweighed the bad for me, and that's why I was kind of like coping in that way, whereas like the good was good, and then the bad would happen for about 2 weeks, and then the good would be good for about another day, and then the bad would happen for about 2 weeks, where she would beat and abuse and make me feel like shit, but then she would be nice. It's like an endless cycle.
Yeah, so what I'm getting at is it sounds like what Dr. Romney would call love bombing. It sounds to me like you could have been dealing with a narcissist. It sounds like they were abusing you, and then this is what narcissists do. They love bomb you to sink their hooks into you, and then they abuse you, and then they love bomb you, and then they abuse you. And love bomb is a term that just means they give you this like explosive display of love. And usually breaking up with a narcissist is very difficult because they're often smoking hot, and they're often they give you things. They give you things that. What's that? There you go. And they'll give you things that you won't get in a healthy relationship. They'll give you seemingly good things that you maybe shouldn't get. I don't know. I'm not here to say what you should or shouldn't. I'm just making jokes. But the point is, Dr. Romney would say that she would call this love bombing. That like they would give you this cycle of explosive displays of love followed by abuse, and the cycle is what keeps us trapped in it. And Dr. Romney also talks a lot about rumination. She has several YouTube videos on rumination that are excellent, and I can't link you to any one of those in particular, but you might take a note of Dr. Romney rumination and just put that into a YouTube search, and it'll come right up. She has like probably 7 videos at this point on rumination. And she says that we ruminate on narcissists because of the explosive displays of love that they give, because it feels too good to be true. And because you're like, wow, I never got XYZ from any of my other relationships. And it's like, well, that's because they were giving you explosive displays of love that were probably synthetic in an attempt to keep you trapped in the cycle of abuse. And so when we ruminate, it's often, at least in many cases, it's that, you're remembering what was there for a while and wondering if you'll ever get it again. And it's difficult breaking up with a narcissist because you're not just breaking up. You are realizing that this now means you have been, you're realizing you've been attracted to unhealthy people. And that's a heavy thing to take in, because it means you need to spend some time being able to identify red flags and spot a healthy person, and you're trying to find a new relational archetype. You're trying to find like what the right person for you is all over again, and that'll take time. But the rumination is no fun. It's not fun ruminating, and I feel for you there, and I can relate a bit. So I wonder how you might be able to shift your thoughts to let go of what was there and start moving towards what's now ahead of you. You're 24, you've got a long life to live, and there's someone out there for you. But you've got to learn how to let go of this person. I wonder if it helps you to maybe thank the person, like subconsciously, so I'm not saying you call them and thank them, but like extend them some gratitude out into the ether, for leading you to this place where you've recognized this about yourself. I wonder if that thought helps you. Like you could actually thank them.
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, everything's been cordial with them. It's just, my own psyche. I've been thinking about stuff. I'm legally not allowed to talk to her anymore at this point because I was given a restraining order recently, but that's besides the point.
She filed a restraining order on you?
Correct, Chris, because she's 16, so her parents, legally won't let us see each other anymore. So that has been tough as well.
Wow.
But,
okay.
Yeah. Ever since that happened, that's really
not legal. Not legal, not possible. Well, it's possible. You can get in trouble. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of this is for the best, and it sounds like you're remembering some. It sounds like you're missing some. You're remembering some things fondly, and you miss them. I would. I'm gonna link. Sorry, I keep jumping on you.
No, you're good.
I'm putting some books in the chat for you. This is a book by Dr. Ramani Durvasula, who I've been talking so much about. She is arguably the world's leading expert on narcissistic personality disorder. And again, this book is going to help you identify whether you could have been dealing with a narcissist and how to deal with them in the future. It's called Should I Stay or Should I Go? Excellent book. We talk a lot about this book here. It always comes up almost on every stream. If you finish that book and want to go a little bit deeper on the subject of narcissism, there's a great follow-up book I would check out. I read these books in this order, and it really helped me through through many difficult times in my life, and I still come back to these from time to time. For whatever reason, I've been I've also dealt with a lot of people like this in my life. I don't know why that is, but these books are invaluable. This is called Psychopath Free, great follow-up book. And this will, the first book is more focused on narcissism and identifying whether someone in your life might be a narcissist. But the second book is, it gets really in the weeds on psychopathy, and it distinguishes between all the different psychopaths so that you can, again, it's like that one gets really granular. So I wouldn't even consider that one unless you read Should I Stay or Should I Go? Because Should I Stay or Should I Go is much more, it's an easier read, and it's a better introduction to the subject, in my opinion.
And
this is, go ahead.
This is completely like anonymous, correct?
Completely anonymous, yeah. No names, no locations. If you say your name or location, I hang up on you.
Okay. Good. I was just making sure because, like I said, not everything about our relationship was in legal terms legal. So I just want to make sure there's nothing that could be brought back to me on this.
Nope. But yeah, I will say be careful. Don't be. Maybe I don't want to know, but be careful. Make good choices. This is Dr. Ramani's YouTube channel. It's might be. You might start with this because it's free, and she's got a bunch of videos up already. She's a psychologist with over 1 million subscribers. I would maybe go to her YouTube channel and do some searches for things like rumination and spotting red flags. And then if those seem on point, then maybe you could read Should I Stay or Should I Go? That way you're not wasting time or money. I don't want to do that. So, but happy to share those. They've been so helpful to me in several different situations in life. So hope you get out of them what I got out of them.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate the help and everything. It's been nice. So I appreciate it a lot.
Call again anytime. Would love to get a good update. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Good night. Another call on narcissism, and I forgot to take notes again. So bear with me, chat. I'm going to take the notes so that these calls are helpful to others. And then the lines will be open again. Okay. Lines are open. Guys, I apologize. I feel like I'm so out of it tonight. I feel like I'm so rusty. Like, tripping over my words. I can't type to save my life. We're going to take one more call, and then we'll wind it down for tonight. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hi. Today how do we do this introductory statement?
Yeah. So no names, no locations. If you do that, I have to hang up on you. It's for you. And we'll start with your age. That's as personal as we'll get, and then just tell us what's on your mind.
So I'm 16, going on 17, and
Okay.
this is going to be brief because I had a lot going on today, but my boyfriend of 2 years has been abusing me, and I finally told my mom and stuff today, and we went and we filed a police report, and it feels really good, but it also kind of sucks because I loved
Right.
him and thought he loved me.
Right.
And it's I just have to tell somebody, and it's kind of crazy. I just saw your live right when I got back from the courthouse. So
What are you feeling?
I'm feeling I feel good about it, but I feel really shitty because I'm going to miss him. When he was good, he was nice. It was good, but the bad parts overshadowed the good parts of the relationship. He was not a good person, at all, and I think I really needed to realize that, and I did today, thank God.
Good. Well, good on you for standing up for what's right. And I'm sorry to hear that your heart is breaking. I guess that's natural. Sounds like you really loved this person.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's crazy because I've known him for 3 years, and we've been together for 2 years, and it was actual physical abuse, and it was it's crazy because you hear about it all the time. You hear about all the red flags and stuff, and you think, well, that's never going to happen to me. But it did happen to me, and it's crazy because I thought that would never, I don't know.
Right. So you saw the red flags, but you stayed in it. What made you stay? Thinking he would change, thinking it was just a phase, thinking you could help
Because
him heal.
I thought that I could help him, and that he would change, and that maybe something would change about him, or that he'd realize that this isn't good for him or me, or this is never going to get him anywhere. But that never happened, and I realized that he's never going to change, and that I had to leave, and I finally did.
Well, it sounds like it's not going to be good for him. Sounds like he's going to get what he had coming. Again, good on you for standing up for what is right. I mean, that has to feel pretty good, at least.
Yeah, and I know this is not about you, but it's good to talk to you because I've been looking up to you since I was I don't know, 10.
You're very kind. Well, I'm glad to give you a place to think out loud and share. I'm very sorry to hear about what happened to you. It feels exciting. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it feels exciting that this happened. You just did this today. Congratulations to you
Yeah,
for standing up for what's right. It must be exciting on some level.
it is exciting.
I know it hurts. I know it hurts. So I'm really sorry about that, but keep on moving, keep on doing your thing, and I'm wondering, do you have any idea what's how severe the punishment's going to be? We haven't gotten into specifics on what specifically he did to you, how badly he hurt you, but it sounds like he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Are you going to have to see this guy anymore, or do you think that there's going to be some kind of separation or physical safeguard in place to keep you safe?
Well, I'm getting a restraining order and a no contact order. He has, it's kind of embarrassing going into the details, but I will. He's punched me in the head, pounded on my skull. He's broken my ribs.
Broke your ribs?
Yeah, it was crazy.
What did you tell your parents? Is that how they found out?
That is not how they found out.
My
I
goodness.
somehow, well, it kind of is. I hid it as long as I could until you can't hide broken ribs.
No, you can't.
So
My goodness.
they
You must have
found
been in
out.
so much pain.
And yeah, it was crazy. And I have, if the broken ribs weren't enough, I have screenshots of stuff he's said to me, like threatening to gut me and stuff. So
Goodness.
I'm pretty sure he's going to get a pretty well-deserved punishment.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that you feel safe. And again, congrats to you. None of these words feel right for some reason because of I realize it's a tragedy. But I mean, I'm celebrating that you stood up for what's right, because I hear a lot of people that do stay in these situations for too long. You're not alone. You shouldn't feel silly about that. But I'm celebrating that you had the courage to stand up and say, hey, this happened and it was not okay. And I hope this gives other people courage to do the same thing, because
I do too.
People shouldn't get away with stuff like that.
Yeah. Thank you for talking to me. I'm sorry. I'm so tired today. I just wanted to call.
No, you go. You had a big day. You had a big day. Go to bed, take a rest, and wishing you the best. Call again anytime.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night. Wow. All right, guys, we still got 30 minutes left. Let's do one more. That was a short one. They're not always that short.
Do one more.
Hello, thanks for calling.
Hello? Hello?
Hi. Can we start with your age and a brief intro?
Yes. I'm surprised my call went through.
Here we are.
Well, it's first pleasure to be able to talk to you.
You know the rules, right? No names, no locations. We toast people here for doing that. Okay, good.
Yes, of course.
We will start with your age. That's as personal as we'll get, if you're okay with sharing your age.
Sure. I'm 23.
Okay. And what's on your mind?
Well, I've never been able to talk to anybody my whole life, pretty much. No therapist, no close family member that's been able to sit across from me and hear me out on anything. So this is definitely something I appreciate. So thank you for what you do and the streams that you do. I think it's something that really helps a lot of people, including myself. So I just want to say I appreciate you first.
Thank you. You're very kind. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes,
It's amazing every night. There's never not a call. So I'm glad people are using the place as intended. I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry to hear there's things on your mind that you don't have to share anywhere else, but that's what we're here to listen to. So what's on your mind?
So I have a history of not doing the right thing towards people I'm close to, loved ones, particularly relationships I've been in. Nothing abusive or physical, but maybe verbally abusive, and actions I've done with other people, like cheating or not seeing the value in people that care very much for me and would do a lot for me, to put it simply. And I've been so just clueless at some point, and what's really bothered me is that I have scars. I've hurt myself in the past before. I can say openly and honestly that I haven't done any self-harm on myself since I was 15, 16. So I'm 23 now. So it's been about 6 years or so. I'm proud of that.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm going to applaud that. That's good on you.
Yeah, thank you. And I also want to, before I go any further, just appreciate the chat and give thanks to the chat, the people that follow this and watch your live streams. It's a big part of what you do, and I do not consider them because it's part of what makes this so helpful for so many people like myself. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Huge thanks to the chat. We'll applaud the chat too.
There you go. There you go. Well,
now, chat, you can't applaud. I'm applauding you there. You can't clap back at that one. That would be egotistical.
Right. So I'll just cut to the chase here. I will say that I had a lot of things push me back in the past couple of years. Intense relationships, ones that I've tried to refresh myself and be more honest with them and try to not settle down completely, but learn to be cordial with people and give back the same love and trust that they've given me and my other partners I've had for so long. And I've tried not to let the get to me to where I'm just full of guilt and regret to where I can't move on and lose my opportunity to find somebody who will feel that way about me again or give me a chance to share my love and affection and trust towards them. So I am single right now. And actually I plan on being single for a long time because I feel like I've done more wrong than I've done good in the relationships I've been in. And, you know, as you get older, you get a feeling as if you've missed so many opportunities and you feel like you don't have much time left. But realistically, I'm only 22, you know, and people change all the time, right? And people can evolve in many ways that you can't even imagine or foretell or even see coming. So I'm letting myself breathe and giving myself as much space as I need to heal myself and get to know and learn myself more before I try to give anything back or commit or love anybody else, because I seem to always get a little selfish or self-centered in a relationship. So if there's anything you wanted to say before I kept going on.
Well, let's acknowledge the good here. There's a lot of empathy in what you're saying. So you don't sound like a psychopath. I mean, it sounds like you've made some decisions you regret. Everybody has things they regret. Everybody has things they look back on and wish they had handled differently. Nobody's perfectly balanced all the time. And it sounds like you've got a set of very specific things that are maybe bad habits or it's not really the right phrase, but some hurtful tendencies. And there's a lot of empathy in what you're saying, because you're saying, I've not done the best I can do. You're saying this isn't right the way that I've been. There's a lot of self-reflection in what you're saying. You're saying, I can do better. And I believe you, because you stopped self-harming, which I've never self-harmed, but I understand that's a very difficult thing to stop doing for many people. And you overcame that. and I applauded you for it. So I believe you when you say, I believe that you're a deeply empathetic person when you say, it's not right the way I've been treating people, and I can do better, and I want to do better. I believe you when you say that. I don't think you'd be calling in here tonight if you had no interest in changing these things. So I just wanted to stop and acknowledge that I hear a beautiful soul on the phone. It sounds like you've done some things you regret and that weighs on your mind. And maybe you've alienated some people. Maybe some people have judged you because of things they've seen you do or say. But you can, with time, redeem those things. You can heal those things in time. There's a lot of things you can do to heal broken relationships. You can apologize. You can go to the person and more than apologize, explain to them, have a conversation with them, a short one at first maybe, about the self-reflection you've been doing. You could tell them exactly what you're telling us here.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to acknowledge the beauty in what you're saying, because I can tell you're really down on yourself, and I believe you when you say you want to do better. I believe you when you say you can do better. I believe that you can.
I believe that I can too. To be honest, I'm in a much better spot mentally now than I am, let's say, even just 3 years ago, because it was more about, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if I didn't do this? And you can't live your life, as short as it is, as precious as it is, in that kind of mindset, and my first love, the first person I ever got close to and was with for almost 3 years, this was around high school. I lost her because I cheated on her, and I chose sexual pleasures and short-lived excitement over long-term commitment and trust. And it's now that I'm like a young adult that it's really affecting me in my current love life when I try to connect and open up to certain people that I maybe feel the same way towards, and I end up pulling out and getting more unsure of myself the more I show that affection, I show that love, because I'm scared to get hurt myself. And it's kind of a hypocritical thing, because I feel like that's all I've ever done is let down the people that have wanted to be with me and that have wanted to give everything to me. And going back to what I was saying earlier, when I feel like I want to be by myself for a while, as long as it takes to learn to love myself and learn to put myself first. And I used to always think that it was a selfish thought to put yourself first and make you the only priority, and I honestly don't think that's the case, because sometimes that's what people need. I think in my case, that's what I need personally. I don't speak for everyone, but I feel like sometimes people do need to pause and reflect and take all the time they need to heal in the way that they need to, and to reflect on the things that they've done, not in a beat yourself up kind of way, but in a learning experience kind of way, so that once I'm fully healed and I'm fully prepared for what's next, I can then put 100% into that person, that even if they just want to go on a date or two with me, it's not about a long-term relationship. It's just about treating people right and being honest with people. And when you're young and you're going through these young teen years of, doing drugs or hanging out with the wrong people or having so many options of people to be with, love can be a very, very confusing and toxic environment for people even just trying to understand it to begin with. So I did call just to get that off my chest and kind of speak my mind a little bit, because I never had anybody to talk to. I never had counseling. The funny thing is I remember watching your videos years ago when I was just a little kid. My brothers used to watch your videos you made prior to this that you're doing now. And I just think it's very funny how things just come full circle, and you're able to give me your ears and your mind and the chat room the opportunity for me to vent the way I'm venting right now. And I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think people should do this more. I think what you're doing is inspiring people like me and others to do the same. And it's not about having a bunch of followers or a history or even a live stream like you're doing now. It's just as simple as sitting down and talking to somebody, and I hate to ramble. I hate to keep going as much as I'm going, but
well, you had a lot you had to keep cooped up for a while.
Exactly. And I'm trying to push myself to my boundaries and push myself out of my comfort zone, to challenge myself and see what I can become and what I can evolve into. Because I'm a young man, and who knows what changes I'll go through. And the military isn't for everybody, but I will say that I am trying to join the Air Force right now, and that is the root of this phone call, is because I don't know if I'll be able to get in because of my self-harming scars that I have. For some of the people in the chat, or maybe you yourself, Julian, you might know, they don't easily accept people who have had previous self-harm accidents or tendencies. So as we speak right now, I'm waiting on a waiver from the military to see if they're going to allow me to even enter or not, just because I had the history of hurting myself when I was younger. This is going on 6-7 years ago now. I will say that I haven't hurt myself or thought about suicide since then, and I've been just focusing on wanting to make music and, focusing on being close to my family, and that's it. So the thing is that, thank you. And the thing is that if I don't get into the military just because of some mistake that I've had in the past, I feel like it would bring me down back to the mindset that I used to have a long time ago, which is that, maybe I deserve this, or maybe
No.
I don't want it. I don't know.
No. Don't believe that. Don't go there. If you, I understand the pressure that you feel you're under. We had a call, I believe it was in the last stream, from a guy in a similar situation, with not with the Air Force, but in the aviation industry, and
Right.
And I fully understand the difficulty that is to get into flying a plane. I mean, it's naturally going to be difficult because it's dangerous. And I fully understand that you want, this is your dream. And yet, if it doesn't work out, is there a way you can prepare yourself now to accept whatever happens, and then maybe it's more rewarding if you get it, and then at the worst case scenario, if you don't get in, you have some kind of mental safety net for how to find a new dream.
I'm gonna be honest, I do. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't have that safety net, because I feel like I can say confidently I do have a safety net, to where if I was let down and they don't accept me, it's just the military, it's just a different career route, and it's not like I'm putting all my cards down on it.
Okay,
and
good.
it's just one thing that I know will propel me to higher levels and, you know, get me back on my feet again and help me travel the world and all these other great benefits that come into being in the military. But
don't let yourself
I'll
go back
sum
to
it
those
up.
dark places. You've done a lot of great work. I applauded you earlier because it's true. And you, I don't believe you'll go back there. That's the one thing you said that I don't believe you on. And I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying, like, I don't believe that you will do that. I believe that you are a very strong soul. You have to be to have gotten yourself out of the situations you've been in. You have to be in order to have the kind of self-reflection and realizations and honesty with yourself that you're expressing here.
And I have been, Julian, and I hate to interrupt you, I really do, but I think this is the biggest point I'm trying to make, is that I have too much love and too much compassion for people that hurt like me and people that have it worse than me, and that puts me in a hole most of the time because I end up getting used by these people. I end up getting manipulated. I end up putting my troubles aside to help other people's troubles, and that's what makes it so difficult for me. And this is why it connects to my relationships, is because I've been wanting to love and like be there for so many people that I can't just be. I know it sounds bad. I know this is anonymous, so I guess it doesn't matter, but I've wanted to love and be with so many people. It's not even about, you know, sex or anything sexual. It's just about, I'm so passionate and loving for people that even if they don't have feelings for me, it's like I want to be there for so many people. It's like I don't want to be a therapist. I'm not trying to, like, you know, cure the world or help everybody, but I mean, anybody that I end up making friends with or getting close to, I maybe get too attached. I maybe get too caught up in their hardships and their love that they have, that they're dealing with. And it's like, I feel like
I
it's
fully hear
always
you. And
doing,
I just want to be very clear that I wasn't arguing with you earlier. I was trying to encourage you by saying I don't believe you.
No, of course.
just be very. I wasn't being nasty. I was doing the opposite.
No,
Okay, great.
I'm on the same page as you,
Just be
brother.
clear.
Of course.
And it's nice to hear a little pep in your voice. So when you first called in, you were a little. I could tell you had a lot that was on your mind, and you sound like you sound like a totally different person now that you just got all that out. I hear a levity in your voice that wasn't there before.
I do, and I'll do you the favor, and I'll go ahead and you know, make this short and, you know, end this phone call. Maybe give somebody else an opportunity to call in. I think you said you only had 30 minutes left or so. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to
you'll be
take
the
up
last
so
call
much
tonight.
time.
Yeah, you'll be the
Okay,
last call.
okay.
Yeah, we're gonna wind down the stream after the call, but I'm really glad to hear the levity in your voice. I want to encourage you to keep going and pursue. You know, life is a series of dreams. You know, they don't all come true, but life is a series of dreams. We make dreams, and or they come to us, and then we pursue them, and sometimes they work. Not all of them can, but you know, I like to look at life as a series of dreams, and we got to put our best foot forward in life. That's what life's about. We put our best foot forward with everything.
Right.
We ought to, and so I want to leave you with that thought of just encouraging you and applauding you for all the great work you've done, and all the great work you're about to do. It sounds like in this self-reflection.
I'll continue to do it, of course.
Good on you.
And Julian, I just have one question for you, if you don't mind asking for me.
Sure.
Or answering for me. What made you want to start doing these live streams? I feel like somebody had already asked you this before, but I just want to hear from you while I have you on the phone.
There's a whole video on that.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no,
but yeah,
I was just going to say,
the short answer is I just went. We keep jumping on you.
I'm
I'm sorry, man.
It's the lag. It's the lag. It just shows through your work and through your streams that I've been watching for the past couple weeks, how genuine and committed and aware you are of what you're doing. And it really shows your strength and it shows your passion for what you're doing. And I just want to say thank you again for doing this and doing this for other people. I feel like you've helped a lot of people. And I feel like it'll continue to grow into something bigger. And I hope it does. I feel like you deserve that. I think the transition you've made from, you know, making those great films and videos you used to do in the day, I mean, I still watch them. They're great. But to go from that to this, it's really a beautiful thing. And I just want to, again, thank you for that, and thank you for allowing me to call and allowing all these other people to call and vent with you. It's a beautiful thing, man, and I hope you keep doing it. And yeah, just thanks again, man. I just wanted to say that.
You're very kind. Thanks for the kind words. And the short answer for why I started the stream is that there is a whole video on that at the beginning of the series, but the short answer is that I just at many times in my life, I've been in places where people didn't want to hear about certain things. People didn't have a slot for certain things, or I found these certain things I couldn't talk about with anybody. And
Right.
I've wanted a place like this at many times in my life. And the irony is, I still don't have one. I can't even use this place. It's worthless to me. I can't use it. So it's kind of a conundrum. But you know, I found other ways to get through my stuff years ago. I'm in a good place now. But I'm doing this because I want to. I believe a place like this ought to exist. I think it.
Whether you know it or not, I think it is helping you, though, without you realizing it, because you're hearing other people's issues, you're hearing other people's thoughts, and I think you're learning and gathering just as much as people like me are through this process that you're doing. I think without you acknowledging it or thinking about it, I think it's helping you at the same time. You know,
Oh, it's always insightful, yeah. It teaches you a lot about people. Just hearing how it teaches you a lot about people, how alike they are and how different they are. And the world is beautiful because of that. So it's certainly every time is insightful. But you can call again anytime. Would love to get a good update and hear about how the progress is going. What's one small thing you can do tomorrow towards this goal? What's one small step you can take tomorrow towards this goal that's achievable tomorrow?
Tomorrow, well, you know, I've been pretty down waiting for this waiver because they say it could take a week up to a month for them to even give me the yes or no that I'm going to be in. And I had already quit my job, so I really have just been sitting around like a potato, like trying to pass the time, you know, drawing, playing guitar, stuff like that. But, you know, I think something that I can do different would be maybe to just write more about what's going on in my life and what could be next. And I think looking to the future and making more plans for myself would be healthy. And I think what I'll do is start reaching out to certain people I haven't talked to in a long time that I have history with, like old friends or old family members, and try to reconnect and rebond with those people because, you know, they're family. We were once close, you know, and why not try to reconnect that and rebrand that together? I think that's an amazing thing to do. And, you know, a lot of people don't take the action to do so, and they miss out on, you know, being close to people that they really cared about once. And I think that'd be very helpful for me, but I think that's what I'll try to do.
There you go. That's a great goal for tomorrow. And it sounds like you're ready to do that. Honestly, at the beginning of the call, when you mentioned that you had alienated some people, I was thinking, man, this sounds like a mess. Like, this is going to take a lot of work to clean up. But hearing your voice now, you sound like ready to go conquer the world. Go get it. Go get it.
Oh, man, that's great, man.
So yeah, call again anytime. I'm hoping to hear a good update from you on all these fronts. Looking forward to
All
that.
right, and thanks again, Julian. I'm gonna go pour myself a glass of milk now. Okay, I appreciate you.
Uh-oh. Don't do that. I hate milk. That's why I made milk. Just don't say milk. Milk is the worst one. When you say it with an E, that's the worst one.
Milk. Okay, yeah. I'm playing. All right, I'll let you go, brother. Again, I appreciate you. I appreciate your stream, and good luck to you, okay?
Same to you. Good luck. Good night. What a sweet soul. Guys, thanks so much for being here. We do these streams 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And these are the highlight of my week, every time. It blows my mind that there's just like the diversity of stories here every single time. I say diversity, and yet like there's always a narcissist call. There's always someone. We're always talking about Dr. Romani. We're gonna have to call this stream Dr. Romani's other stream that she's not in. And I'm going to get sued for it. No, I'm joking. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Huge shout out to our mods. Tonight we had Deanna Krebs. Deanna, you've been alone here lately. What is up with the other mods? Are they leaving you hanging? You are such a trooper. You're often here alone. I see Easy Cheesy here. He's here too. Easy. Sorry, Easy, I left you out. My eyes were not on the chat as much this episode, so I'm just making sure I haven't missed any other of the mods. We love our mods here. They're awesome, and I can't scroll up any further. I'm pretty sure it's just you two here. Anything else? Nope, I think that's it. Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, the Discord server. Please check it out. It's a wonderful place if you enjoyed this, or you want to talk to somebody in the community, just like chat. Or, none of us are experts, but we will listen. And this is a beautiful community of people that are just open-minded and chill and non-judgmental. So if you got something out of this, you can join the Discord server completely free. Link is in the video description. And there's some community support channels there that you can go in, and they're private. There's some of them are only accept 2 people at a time. So if you want to just talk to like one person and just like have a quiet conversation about anything, you can do that there. There's an anonymous confession channel. So there's lots of, we've tried to set it up. It's amazing what it's turned into. And a lot of that is because of the work the mods have done. They're amazing, like I said. So yeah, come join us in Discord, and we'll see you here next week on Tuesday, again at 10 p.m. Eastern. See you guys then. Take care. Good night.